Today we are going to be working with Gracie from East Orange Animal Alliance. They are struggling with her with resource guarding, her food, in her dig at the facility that she's at. So we're going to be assessing her today and kind of seeing what plan we can give them to move forward to make sure that she gets into her forever home. Tell me a little bit more. I know, I remember Kristen telling me a little bit about the facility that they're at and stuff. Once a day, what time of day are they eating?
Usually mid to late morning.
Okay.
When the kennel attendants come in, they clean the kennels.
Okay.
And then
they feed them after. Yeah. And how often is she getting out?
Another great question.
Yeah.
Depends on who is there.
Okay.
We have volunteers that will come maybe once, maybe twice a week.
Okay. All right.
Very often.
All right. So a lot of it is on the facility and stuff.
One of the kennel attendants, I sent him the video.
Yeah.
Of the resource guarding, and he watched it. So I just need to give him the resources.
Yeah.
To
absolutely.
to
That's
do what
fine.
needs
Okay.
to
And
be
we
done.
can create a video for him and whoever else wants to learn so they can help her. Okay. Is there any way they could feed her twice a day?
I could ask.
Because she's probably starving.
Yeah.
And that's probably why it's making it worse. Because she's like, I'm only going to get this once a day. And while I'm eating this one meal a day, everyone's barking and chaotic around me. And this is super stressful. So I would love if we could amp up the food. And it's tough because when she's in a facility like that, we have limited resources in the way that it is right now. Again, I think if she was out of the scenario,
100%.
it would, like John said, it would resolve on its own.
5 days out, Marge is doing zoomies around his kitchen. Meanwhile, when she was in the play yard, she backed herself into a corner and wouldn't move.
Sad.
I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's stressful. Yeah. It really is, and we just expect these dogs to perform and be okay, and it's under the worst conditions. Yeah. And she's a baby, like she should be in a home. This is, she should be having her puppyhood, and right now she's stressed. Now, the other thing I would do for any other dog that I'm dealing with resource guarding is give more of what they resource guard, right? So like if she's resource guarding toys, make it a point for your volunteers to go more often with her and give her these things and just let her be. Okay. Like give her as many toys as possible, as long as she's not the type of dog that even if you're in the vicinity, she's gonna guard it and come after you, which I don't foresee her being.
No.
Like.
I saw her with her toy this morning.
She loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah. The more we give it, again, the less important it is because I have it more often now. Because a lot of times there are people out there and the notion is if you guard it, I should take it away because you don't respect me. And that's not what this is. This is just.
It's stuffy, so I could even put them in the kennel with her.
Yeah. As long as she's not going to get nasty with anybody that's coming in or trying to clean or whatever, like trying to leash her up to remove. Because that would be something that we would look in the shelter for is like. Dogs, like they can be guarders, but everyone has their own parameters about how they guard and what they guard, right? So like we had one dog, we didn't know she was a guarder. She passed the eval completely fine. She was there for what? I'm talking about Henny. She was there for months. She was just an older dog. She was like pretty chill, but like nobody wanted her. She's just
7 months before the incident?
Yeah, chunky pit, just kind of hanging. One of
She's
our
that type of dog that like, you're like, oh, she could like live here the rest of her life and she'd be happy.
Yeah, like she wasn't a concern at all.
Yeah.
One of our volunteers who hadn't walked her, she was a long-time volunteer, but just didn't spend any time with her, took her out for a long walk. They had a great time. She came back. Someone had put enrichment on the corunda bed, and she didn't see it. And she went to unleash her, and she bit her. She backed up. She bit her again. It was like she was a closet resource guarder, like nobody knew.
Yeah.
And she, even though she retreated, she bit twice, which is it's a huge red flag, right? For that situation, you're like, well, we miss this, right? At least she's being super honest with us, which I enjoy. But any other client that I would be working with, I would say more of what we need going on. We just want to make sure that we're testing the water. We're dipping a toe in. We're not like just giving her everything and saying, okay, let's see how it goes. We want to like tread lightly with it. So if she loves, now, did she guarded the toy in the eval?
Yes.
Right. Okay. That was the snap at the close, right? So my thing with guarding is like I want to prove to them I'm never going to touch your stuff. This is your stuffy. It's not mine. I don't need to touch it. There's no reason why I should have to touch it, right? It's not this thing of like, well, I want to be able to grab something from my dog. We can get her out. If she likes people and she's not going to be super stressed, she can come out and like decompress and just sniff. Huh. Oh, you tiny. You're a little mama. Hello.
Also put a stuffing with her because I think since they're unsupervised so much, I think that they're
Worried about, yeah.
stuffing out.
So we could give her maybe something that, like a Kong or something that's less, a risk. Hi. You're a little skinny, a little bit. You're a skinny girl. Hi. You are precious. Hi. You good girl. Oh, she's a good girl. Hi. Hello. She's a good girl. Yeah. Does she know any cues? That's all right. Hi. Hello, Angel. Do you know sit? Sit.
She does know what.
Sit. No. Oh, yes. Yes. Good sit. Good girl. Good girl. Oh, so good. You're a sweetheart. She takes it gently too. Hi. Is she telling when she's upset? Like, can you tell? Like body posture, how she looks. Good girl. So like for her, we could, again, like John said, like she could go into a home tomorrow and we could see completely resolved depending on the family that she goes home with. So I think it really comes down to who we're marketing her to. You know, little kids probably not our best bet right now,
Right.
just because you can't tell people what to do.
Right. We were saying like 10.
10, yeah. Being able to follow directions,
Yeah.
right? And you'll hopefully be able to meet the kid and, you know, just go from there and say whether this kid is able to handle it. Hi, mama girl. But, you know, working with them and, you know, I will, if we find her a home, I'm happy to help them through it and give them, you know, guidelines of what we can and can't do. But in terms of you guys, what you guys can do, is there, I've never been to the facility, is there like a separate room they can take them and like work with them at all? Like to feed her, like if we take her out of her kennel
Yeah.
and take her to a separate room, even like outside, like wherever they run.
Yeah, they could go in the play yard. There is an ISO room.
Okay, any room where they can feed her and just like, I think the first step for me would be taking her out of her normal situation of where she's eating right now and give her less stress. Just, and like they don't have to touch her enough. I mean, the most I would have them do is like literally just toss her high value food while she's eating. So that would be my goal to start, right? We go really low and we work our way up. So that's first, right? Taking those 1 to 2 meals a day that she has and just letting her know you're safe. No one's touching your food. I'm putting it down. You're good to go.
Yeah.
And I'm going to give you all the peace in the world while you're doing so. Hi, sweet girl. Hey, yo. All right. So today we're going to do a little bit of resource guarding work with our girl here, Gracie. Some exercises for you guys to do at the facility. So I know that she's a little resource guarding with her food, so we're gonna practice on that right now. She hasn't eaten yet today, but she did have some treats, so she may not be as hungry. Hi, good girl. Good girl. Yes, such a good girl. Yes, good girl. Yes, such a good girl. So I'm just praising her. I'm treating her regardless of how she acts. I mean, she could be the most growly girl in the world right now, but I'm still gonna work with her and tell her that she's a good girl. She's disengaging from the food. I guess she's not loving it. Good girl. Sit. Good girl. Even if she's not eating the food, and she's out of a stressful environment right now. She's not in the facility with all the dogs barking, all the chaos. So she might not actually be as interested in her food, but when she's there, it seems more valuable. So this is actually kind of good to see that she's not super stressed right now, which also gives me the idea that when she finally gets into a home, this won't be as big of a problem as it is in the shelter. So good girl. Yes, it's a good girl. She's not super tense right now, but as you guys are working with her, if she is super growly or super tense, just working with her. If you don't have her on leash, that's okay. You can stand at a distance and literally just toss some treats like I'm doing here. Just letting her know us being around her food is completely fine, but we have to prove to her that we're not going to touch her food.
It gets better every time we
Yeah.
interact with the food.
Good girl. Good girl. So back her up a little bit. I'm going to back her up, John. Good girl, look. Good girl. So I'm not touching the food. I'm just putting extra stuff in it, and I'm going to back up again and let her go. So she understands when I approach the food, she only gets better things in her bowl versus I take it away or something bad happens. Good girl. Okay, back her up again. I guess I did. Yes, it's a good girl. Good girl. Good job. Now, if a dog is super tense, right? If she was like giving me the eyes and like really low, I would even like change my posture. I would like turn this way a little bit and like not even look and just toss it. So it really depends on what you're getting at the time. And if she is super tense, just talk to her very calmly and tell her that she's a good girl. Keep it short and sweet and then just book it out of there. Over time, the more we do this, the better she's gonna get. Even a limited amount of doing these types of activities will help her guarding. There you go, good girl. Now she's eating, good girl. Yeah, she's like, give me the cheese, lady. Good job, mama. Good job. I got nothing. Go ahead. Good girl. That's a good girl. What? Good girl. Aw, kisses. Thank you. Good girl. Good girl. That's a good girl. Good tail wag.
How long should this last?
Short. I mean, it depends on how quickly she's eating, obviously. If she's, now, do you guys know if she gobbles it down at the shelter?
Don't know.
All right. If she's gobbling it down,
Guessing. I'm guessing.
yeah, because it could be both, right? She could be guarding something that she's not hungry enough to eat, right? It could go backwards. It could be the opposite of what we're thinking, that she might not be starving or that she's getting too much food, right? Depending on how much they're giving. And she's like, I'm not hungry enough to eat all this, but I still know it's a resource. I don't want anybody else to have it. So if she's eating quickly, keep it as short and sweet as she's eating and get out of there. I would probably get out of there before she's done eating. So she's not really focused on you as you're going, but it's like, okay, you do your thing, I'm gonna go now. If she's kind of like hoarding over it, that's something for you guys to let me know, and then we can rediscuss that. Maybe she's getting too much food, or we'll figure that out. But if she's not eating it voraciously, that definitely triggers me too of thinking there's something else going on. That she's like, I don't want to give this up, but I'm not hungry enough to eat it. Yes, even if they bring her into a different, the outside area or ISO room, whatever, and do this with her, and she, even if she's not tense, just throwing the extra stuff in there and talking to her can help.
You don't even need the extra stuff. You could start with an empty bowl and throw like 4 or 5 pieces of kibble.
Yeah.
Let her finish it, and then do the exercise over. Throw a few more pieces of kibble in. This way, they don't have to have any extra ingredients or anything. They can just use her kibble.
True.
I understand.
Yeah.
Every time I approach, there's more food. There's more resources.
The biggest takeaway is, though, that they never touch the bowl while she's there. So if like she was doing this right now, I would have John take her out of the scenario, and then I would pick up the empty bowl. Because we just don't want her to think, oh, now they're touching my stuff, right? She's just grabbing onto straws because she's got nothing right now, right? Let's see how you do. Here, you want to back her up?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Come here.
Here, take that.
Just very focused.
So turn her that way. Okay. That's a good girl. Oh, she's cute. Hi. Hi. Yeah, you're more focused on that than the food. Good girl. So she's dropping it for the food. And I'm not asking her to drop it because that's not the goal either. I just want her to realize that when we're around her and the toy, we're not going to take it from her. Good girl. Yes, good girl. Good job. That's a good girl. A good girl. You did so good. Oh, you kissy girl. Oh, I love you. You're a sweetheart. You're a sweetheart. We're going to get you a home. Yeah, we're going to get you a home.